WBRZ Plus, your 20. Now, WBRZ News 2 starts with breaking news.
We've got some severe weather going on now, happening just outside of our viewing area. A tornado hitting the ground in New Iberia. The WBRZ storm station is tracking that tornado right now. Governor John Bel Edwards declaring a state of emergency as these severe storms pass through our state. And yeah, JP, this is something you guys have been talking about since 4:30 this morning,
and
right?
We're hearing rain come down right over the station right now. It's getting really heavy as these storms are making their way through the capital city, causing a lot of problems, people anticipating flooding, and that's going to really mess up the roadways.
That's right. It absolutely could. Let's take a look at those traffic graphics, and I can tell you what's going on now. This will be that live look outside, as we do have these shots pulled up for a reason. You know, these are some of those flood-prone areas around our city. So around I-110, they have some issues. Typically, when we see some bad rain, we can deal with that. But right now, you don't need to worry too much about that. You can go ahead and travel in those areas as we do not have high water. But our team has been on top of this situation. Of course, we've got team coverage, starting with storm station meteorologist Marisa Nuzzo. Marisa?
Thanks, Ashley. I just got in a bunch of new information here, including a tornado warning for Ascension Parish. The entire parish of Ascension now under a tornado warning. I'm talking to Donaldsonville all the way through Gonzales. Now, I'm going to step off screen here. I'm going to talk about this a little more. We'll get a little more in depth. Also, all of these boxes here, also tornado warnings. Largely, these are outside of the WBRZ viewing area, but my St. Helena people and Ascension Parish now need to be in your safe place as we continue to have a tornado warning in those areas. Let me go ahead. I'm going to switch over my graphics here. Just take a quick second. Hopefully I can get a switch here. Looks like we are going to get a freeze up. Hopefully I can get a quick switch. All right, everybody, we're all on the same page. Here we go. This is what we're looking at on the radar here. If you're hearing some buzzing around, that's because the radar and the alerts are coming into the Weather Center as we speak. Right now, I need to talk to my folks down in Ascension Parish. If you are in Donaldsonville, if you are in Gonzales, you are now in a tornado warning. I'm talking to Sorrento, Belrose, all in a tornado warning. This will be active between now and 12:45. So you need to be in your safe place between now and 12:45. Let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the rotation and see what the National Weather Service is seeing here. Oh, looks like my graphics may take a quick pause, so just bear with me here. Again, I'm talking to Donaldsonville, I'm talking to Sorrento and Gonzales. I'm also talking to drivers. Anybody that is planning to hit the interstate, be in Ascension Parish, anywhere along I-10 in Ascension Parish, at this moment is no longer safe to drive because there is a tornado warning. Looks like my graphics are going to reset very quickly. Yeah, so bear with me here. We're back to Ascension Parish. What I want to look at for a second is I want to see what the National Weather Service is looking at. We call this rotation, or sometimes we call this velocity. You can see here very faintly, I'm talking about this very faint red and green. I'll come back out to the green screen for you and I'll show you exactly what's going on here. We're talking about this right here. So if you're in Assumption Parish and you just got pinged for a tornado warning, if you're in Pinkerville, Pierre Part, the rotation and this storm is well north of you. What I'm talking about here is this rotation here that is really headed to Donaldsonville. Also, if you're in Iberville Parish and you got pinged for this warning, this is really an Ascension Parish issue as this storm continues to track. Let's see, Jacelyn, can we find out how fast this storm is moving and we'll track it out? She's going to help me out a little bit here. This storm, see the red and the green here? The green means that it's moving towards the radar and the red is away. So when we start to see the red and green coupling together like that, that's how we know that we're starting to see some rotation. They've gone ahead and issued that tornado warning. Again, I'm talking to folks that are in Ascension Parish, Donaldsonville first, and then everybody to the east after that. If you're planning on driving on I-10 anywhere in Ascension Parish, no longer safe to drive as we have a tornado warning active here. Looks like this thing is moving 40 miles per hour. That's pretty typical for a tornado warned storm. So we'll be moving here pretty quickly through Ascension Parish. Now let's back it up again so we can see exactly what we're talking about here. A lot of people are dealing with some rain. So I know that this has, the borders have moved over parts of Iberville Parish as well as parts of Assumption Parish, but I showed you that rotation. It's just north of Pankerville, and it's moving through Donaldsonville. Those are the folks that are really going to be in the path of the most dangerous winds here. We unfortunately don't have the capabilities to narrow down the alert system, so totally possible if you're in Iberville or if you're in Assumption that you've gotten an alert, but those alerts, again, are just telling you that there is a tiny, tiny part of your parish that is included in that tornado warning. Now I'm going to step off screen, drive the radar for you again here. We're going to track this out, find out. We now know it's moving 40 miles per hour, so we can see how long it's going to take as it moves across the area. So bear with me while I track this out for you very quickly. I've been tracking out things all day, and this is actually the fastest one I've seen. The last one I had in here was moving 28 miles per hour. So moving pretty quickly as it tracks through Ascension Parish. Here are some of the spots and some of the times where it may get there. I'm talking to Gonzales, 12:20, expecting this tornado warned storm to be there. French Settlement, expecting this to be there around 12:31. Whitehall around 12:38. So hang out with us right here on WBRZ, and we'll continue to monitor the progress of this storm through Ascension Parish. Again, if you are in Ascension, you need to be in your safe place. Now let's talk a little bit about what that means to be in your safe place. We want to be in the lowest, most interior room of your home. I know lots of folks here, most I would say, do not have a basement, but that's okay. Where we want you to go is the lowest, most interior room of your home. I want you to be away from windows. I know that it can be your instinct the second that you hear a tornado warning or all the alarms start going off. You want to go to your window, you want to see what's going on, but that is not the safe way to handle this. I want you to listen to my voice and go to your safe place. Lowest, most interior room of your home. Sometimes if you don't have an interior room, small rooms like maybe a bathroom or a pantry that are small but have no windows, those work too. You want to make sure that you're grabbing all the members of your family, kids, anybody that's in your house. Grab your pets too, put them on a leash, bring them with you, and you're going to hang out there until the warning expires. Again, you can just hang out with us right here on Channel 2. We'll guide you through the rest of this tornado as it continues to move through. Not a confirmed tornado, but certainly a tornado warning. Let me back this up again. Here is that timeline for a storm that's moving 40 miles per hour. It is right now right just north of Belrose and Pankerville, moving over the Donaldsonville area, and it is headed toward Gonzales, Sorrento, French Settlement. This storm will be crossing over the interstate here very, very soon. If you are planning on driving on I-10 anywhere in Ascension Parish, it is no longer safe for you to do so. You need to stay where you are. Make sure that you are paying close attention to warnings through the rest of the day. If you plan on driving through anything that is tornado warned is certainly very, very dangerous. And you can see the entire interstate, I-10 through Ascension Parish, now included in that tornado warning. Arrival time for Gonzales looks like about 12:20. Current time is about 12:09, so it gives you about 10 minutes, Gonzales. Make sure you're staying in your safe place. French Settlement about 12:31, and it looks like I just got some new radar data. So I'll go through, I'll track it out again, and I also have a handful of other tornado warnings that I'm going to update you on. All of those are in the just outside of the WBRZ viewing area, but we'll talk about those in a second here too. Here's a fresh track now that we have some fresh information. Gonzales looks like it might be creeping in on you closer to around 12:18. So here very, very soon. French Settlement right around 12:30. And then Whitehall, 12:36. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here because I do have a handful of other active warnings I want to make sure that everybody is aware of. A lot of them are outside the WBRZ viewing area, but this is absolutely something that you need to know about, especially if you need to be driving around. All of these boxes are active tornado warnings. The Weather Service is working very hard to trim them back. I want to show you this view so you can see where we are on the map. Here's Baton Rouge and here's the interstates. We're heading through Livingston into Tangipahoa Parish. My folks up in St. Helena are probably about to be in the all clear. This is the tornado warned cell right here, right as it's crossing over I-55 south of Kentwood. Looks like we're now getting a flash flood warning for the Baton Rouge area, so we'll come back to that in just a second. Let me get through these tornado warnings just so you know. If you're planning on driving on I-12 towards Slidell, you are going to be running into some dangerous storms, especially as you're passing by Covington. All the rest of these are moving north, and they're continuing to all trek north and northeast. Not lasting too long, something to keep in mind. Again, you can track all of these out. If you got to go, you can't sit by the TV right now, download that WBRZ weather app, and you can track all of these out, see all of them live on your smartphone, and you can see exactly what direction they're going. Now let's find out a little bit more about this flash flood warning that I just got issued for the Baton Rouge area. Let's see, I have meteorologist Jacelyn Wheaton here. Let's see if we can open her mic and she can let us know exactly what's happening with this flash flood warning.
Currently, right now, we're seeing flash flooding for parts of Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Iberville, Livingston, St. Helena, West Baton Rouge, and this is going to be until 3:15 this afternoon. We've seen repeated rounds of rain with this system that's moving through. You're seeing it here on the radar, just constant rain, and that's what we're seeing. We're expecting rainfall rates anywhere between 1 to 3 inches per hour as this system makes its way through. It's a slow-moving system. We've tracked it throughout the west, and now it's at our area, and we're seeing this now. Again, a flash flood warning for parts of Baton Rouge, Central, Southern University is included in this, LSU, Denham Springs, the outskirts of Livingston, and parts of Ascension. So we're going to continue to monitor this. That is our flash flood warning. Again, be sure you turn around, don't drown. We have several low-lying roads across the capital area. You'll want to make sure you stay informed. And the best thing to do right now, we have several tornado warnings popping up across the area. You might as well just stay in place, shelter at home so that you can stay safe during this time. And you're looking right now at the rainfall over the past 24 hours. We've already picked up a couple of inches. Now this right here that you're seeing, the graph says the last 24 hours, but we just started seeing rain about an hour ago. So we're seeing rainfall rates already anywhere between an inch and a half to 2 inches per hour, and it's going to continue to come down as that main line of showers and storms starts to move through the area, and even areas further to the west, picking up about 11 inches of rain. But again, the flash flood warning here at home coming in for parts of Baton Rouge, Central, Marydale, and it's extending towards the northeast as that system continues to move through. Students on campus, LSU, and southern and low-lying areas will be seeing good amounts of rainfall as this system slowly tracks through the area. Now here's another check of your forecast with meteorologist Marisa Nuzzo.
Thanks, Jacelyn. Keeping a really close eye on all of the data. You should see her in there working really hard now. Again, here is where that flash flood warning is. Jacelyn said that we are seeing reports of rainfall between 1 and 3 inches per hour. We know that with our drainage systems, anything pushing about 2 inches per hour can certainly overwhelm the drainage system. I'm already seeing Ashley heading over to the traffic pod here, looking out for that possibility of some flooding. So we'll check in on that in just a little bit now that we have a flash flood warning issued. If you follow the box with me, it does include Southern University. It includes a small part of West Baton Rouge Parish just along the bank of the river here. So Addis, Burley, all those locations right along the bank going to be included in that. Plaquemine also included, and it extends out to Denham Springs, and then those northern areas up here. I'm talking to Central, Walker, all those spots, and Watson in here too. Now I'm going to revisit that tornado warning. We still do have an ongoing tornado warning right now for Ascension Parish. Very important. We don't forget about Ascension Parish. Those folks still have a tornado warning. I'm now actually learning, we'll talk about Ascension in a second. This is that warning. I'm now learning that the other warning that we were talking about earlier, we are up here in northern Tangipahoa Parish, does have a confirmed tornado. So these storms now have confirmed tornado just over the city of Tangipahoa, right south of Kentwood. Confirmed tornado here. This thing is moving northeast around 30 miles per hour, so it's very soon going to be moving past I-55. But if you are traveling on I-55 between about Independence and, say, the Mississippi-Louisiana border, no longer safe to travel. There is a confirmed tornado with that storm along I-55 near the city of Tangipahoa. Now, let's go back to Ascension Parish here. Still an ongoing tornado warning for my folks in Ascension. Looks like the storm is moving pretty good. We talked about it moving around 40 miles per hour, and we're going to track it out for you here again, see how that's evolved. Looks like part of it is about to go over the interstate. I'm actually going to switch it over to velocity so we can see where the core of this storm is. It's not very obvious. I'll step on the screen here in a second so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. It's not immediately obvious where the core of that storm is, but it is about right here. Again, we are moving off to the northeast around 30 miles per hour, and there is a list of cities here and about what time they're going to start to see this tornado warned cell move through. Let me come over to the green screen so I can tell you what's going on here. I'm able to pick out where we think the center of rotation is based on what we call here the storm motion. You can see the red and the green coupling together. I will tell you this is not the tightest coupling that I've seen all day. There have definitely been tighter couplings, and there's definitely been some confirmed tornadoes already. This one does appear to be on the weaker side, but it's moving through a pretty densely populated area. Anybody in Ascension Parish should still be in their safe place here. This 3:15 is the flood warning. That is not how long this will take. This will probably be updated here in the next 10 minutes or so. French settlement, 12:31-ish, expecting to see that storm get closer. It's just now knocking on the door of Gonzales and Sorrento. So if you're in Gonzales, Sorrento, in that area, need to be in your safe place. You need to be sheltering from this storm while it moves through. If it holds together and we continue to see some strong rotation and we continue to see a strong storm here, it's going to be moving into southern Livingston Parish. So past French settlement areas out here like Whitehall, then I'll start talking to my folks in Killian. Those people need to be paying attention because you could be on deck to see that tornado warning. Let's click through my slides here, see what else we've got going on. Again, this storm here does have a confirmed tornado as it's moving through Kentwood. There are about 5 different tornado warnings ongoing here, so odds are you're either in a tornado warning or you're pretty close to one. Let me see how far I could back this up so we can see. Looks like we've got another one right here just north of Livingston, so let me step off. Looks like Jacelin's going to drive for me. All right, let's see what's going on here. Just north of Livingston, can see this is including Amite City, Kentwood. Those are all my folks up here. Let's zoom it in a little bit and see what we're talking about. So this guy right here, this was going in a very similar path to that one we saw earlier, headed off toward Montpelier. We are just north of Denham Springs here. We're in Livingston Parish. Livingston, you may be very close to the warning, but again, the storm is up here and it's going to continue to track northeast. So really people northeast of the storm are the ones that are at the most risk at this point. Montpelier, Amite City, all those people a little bit down the line, but right now we are just north of Livingston. Jacelin's tracking it out for me. Let's see if we can get some more cities to pop up here with a little bit more of a timestamp. Looks like it really only wants to give us Montpelier. So those really low population areas don't always populate on our map, but I know there's folks up there. So if you are in Livingston Parish, north of Livingston, north of the highway, north of the city of Livingston, this could be you. Want to make sure that you are in your safe place, sheltering from a tornado between now and about 1 p.m. All right, here we're getting a look at the velocity now here. This is the rotation. So it looks like the rotation is also north of Walker. So that's important if you're in Walker or if you're on the north side of Walker, you may be right along the edges of this. You can see right here is that rotation. So there it is. We're zooming in on it. Walker and Livingston are down here along 190, and rotation is just north of here, and it's moving northeast. So it's not going to go south and not going to move down into Livingston Parish, but if you're north, I'm talking to Montpelier mostly, or seems to be our only city on the map that populates. This is the path for this one. A very similar path to the storm we saw about, say, an hour ago that came through this area and moved through Montpelier and Greensburg. Very, very similar path with a very similar signature here. Again, it's that red-green couplet that lets us know where the center of that tornado just might be. This map is really starting to light up. We have warnings all over the place. If you're planning on driving along I-55, it is no longer safe to do that. There are 3 active tornado warnings along I-55 in Tangipahoa Parish north of Hammond right now. Certainly not safe to drive through any of those storms. Now, again, we're keeping a close eye on all of these warnings. Up in Kentwood, this area here, this particular cell, we did get a confirmed tornado from the National Weather Service. All the other ones, we have information largely from radar data. We don't have a lot of confirmed tornadoes at this moment, just the one. So we're keeping a close eye on that radar data to let you know where things may become a bit more dangerous. Let's see if we can look at the big view. There is a lot going on here. You can actually see tornado warnings that extend way, way north, and you can kind of follow this path all the way. You can almost barely see what is going on because of all that lightning. Now let's revisit our friends down in Ascension Parish, see what is happening down there. Haven't talked about them in a while. Here's the latest. It does look, I'll tell you guys, honestly, it looks pretty weak, which is a good sign compared to a lot of the things that I've seen so far today. I've seen quite a handful, but they have just now decided to reissue that warning. So now my folks in Livingston going to be in this warning. Let's get some information here. Now expecting this to last until 1 p.m. as it goes through Ascension and into southern Livingston. Now let's see how many cities I can get to populate on my map here. Looks like nobody wants to populate, but I know where you are. I'm talking to Gonzales, I'm talking to Sorrento, talking to Port Vincent, French Settlement. All of those areas going to be in the path of this tornado warning. It will soon be moving past I-10, and soon I-10 will be safe to travel south through Ascension again, so I'll give you that all clear when we're officially past I-10, but it hasn't done that quite yet. I'm talking to Union Landing, 1240s, when this is going to be moving closer to your area. Bayou Barbary, we're looking at Horse Bluff Landing. All of these places expected to see this storm between now and, say, 12:45. This one, again, like I said, I've been tracking about 10 warnings now, 10 different storms on the radar, and this one does appear to be the weakest, but that doesn't mean it's not a dangerous storm. We'll go ahead and issue a severe thunderstorm warning for winds coming in excess of 60 miles per hour, and winds just like that could come to you in the form of a tornado. Could certainly be damaging. So if you are in this tornado warning, did just get extended through southern Livingston, cuts off right at the interstate here. So all my folks south of the interstate in Livingston Parish should be paying close attention. Make sure you're looking at your spot on the map, look at your location to know exactly where you are and if you are in the path of this warning. Now, in the midst of all these tornado warnings, we actually have a bunch of flash flood warnings ongoing as well. The Baton Rouge area continuing to see some repeated heavy downpours. I can hear them over my head here at the studio. It is super loud with lots of heavy rain. Rain rates between about 1 and 3 inches per hour. These were some earlier estimates, and let's see if we could wipe these and get some new ones, if some new ones have come in. Looks like some hot spots are south, closer to Plaquemine. Yeah, about 1.7 inches there. Downtown, or not downtown. This is Baton Rouge, maybe a little bit closer to the Drusilla area, coming in between about 1.5, 1.6, closer to Denham Springs, picking up 2.5 inches there, and then north of Livingston up here, that area that is currently under a tornado warning, picking up about 2 inches of rain up there as well. So it is just not safe to drive, folks. There are tornado warnings all over the map. They keep popping up and coming down depending on the behavior of these storms. This is an extremely hard situation to navigate if you're going to attempt to drive. Just look at this. I want everybody to stay home. Do not head out in these storms. It's very dangerous because the storms themselves, but then you never know when one of these storms could start to become even more severe for the local area. These tornado warnings, look, they're extending all the way up into Mississippi. Let's revisit our friends down in Ascension Parish, see what is happening down here. Still 2 tornado warnings ongoing, but they'll likely retire the old one. Looks like this storm is just now starting to pass over the interstate, moving through the Gonzales area and headed off toward Port Vincent. Again, we're moving in this northeasterly pattern here. This tornado warning will be active until 12:45. Here's some estimated arrival times for that core of the storm that we're keeping a close eye on. So I'm talking to Galvez around 12:28. Current time is 12:26, so you should be in your safe place right now. French Settlement, I've been talking to you for about 30 minutes. You should be in your safe place right now as well. Frost, Louisiana, should be in their safe place. 12:44 is the arrival time of the core of this storm. Let's see if we can look at it on the velocity, see what it is looking like. There we go. Again, compared to a lot of the stuff I've seen today, it does not look as intense. I mean, I'm seeing some other couplings up here that are looking a little bit more intense. This one will probably have a warning just north of Hammond here any second now. All of this is the reason why your work was canceled and your kids were sent home from school today, because we want everybody to sit tight, make sure that you are staying safe. Looks like they went ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell just north of Hammond. Probably not quite touching the ground is my guess here, rotating, but not quite powerful enough to touch the ground with this one. So between Hammond and then moving off toward the rest of the parish here to the northeast, closer to Franklinton up there, going to be under a severe thunderstorm warning, likely for very high winds, but not quite a tornado there. Let's go back to Ascension Parish. Look at those folks again. Looks like this is starting to really develop a core as it's passing through Gonzales. We're getting a little closer to French Settlement here. Wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some maybe pea-sized hail in this area. Once those colors start getting up into that pink color, that's how you know there's really high reflectivity or the radar's picking up on a lot. So there may be some pea-sized hail, or this could be just super, super heavy rain. Not out of the question considering what we've already seen today. Again, this tornado warning includes most of Ascension Parish, but it does look like it's starting to move past Gonzales, past Sorrento, and starting to move into southern Livingston. Looks like we're getting some double boxes now with our traffic cameras around town. Definitely seeing lots and lots of rain. My producer's trying to talk to me, so I'm going to step off the screen right now, and I'm going to let you take a close look here. So I'm learning that the roads here are Ascension Parish, and I'm seeing more drivers than I would like to see out there. Looks like we are definitely getting some rain on these cameras. Now, if we can, I could pass it over to Ashley. Maybe she can give us a little bit more expertise on the location of these cameras and let us know what she's seeing.
Yeah, well, what you're looking at essentially here is the parish line between Baton Rouge and Ascension. And we can see right now that I'm not on cam, but I'll just voice this, I guess. So you've got issues I wouldn't even consider it issues. This is just an area you should avoid driving right now. Throughout the show, I've been monitoring to see if we're finding any high water pockets, and I do not really see any high water pockets out there. So if we can go to the traffic graphics, and I can kind of guide you through whatever's going on traffic-wise. So really, Marissa's been letting us know to avoid driving altogether right now. So many of our viewers are under watches and warnings. So here's what some cameras I pulled up over at Ascension Parish when she was letting us know that the tornado warning area is actually kind of moving away from this area. So that's good news, but you still want to avoid the area. This is a live look around Gonzales. You've got the Burnside area, and this is over in Sorrento. And she was just letting us know that that tornado warned area is kind of moving away to the east toward French Settlement. So that's an area that's really under the gun right now. Checking out the Mississippi River Bridge, this is what it looks like now. So of course, very heavy rain. We have no major crashes since my last check. That's kind of bogging everybody down. So your drive times are normal, but these travel times and all that, really, you got to throw that out the window because that really isn't the focus. I want y'all to see this, though. Let's take a live look outside to the other quad cam shot where we have fiber 2. If we could take a look, these are those areas that we're going to be watching today as it really comes down, especially since we're under that flood warning now in our area. I-110, I'm not seeing any water there, and it looks pretty good around North 22nd Street, but we're going to be watching and monitoring these areas. So not just yet. I guess they were showing those cams just to kind of coincide with your maps, Marissa.
Get a good look there at Ascension Parish since there has been a tornado warning there for a little while. Jacelyn here is driving for us so we can see what is happening. Like Ashley said, we're seeing it lift out, so looks like very soon I'll give you my all clear for I-10 in Ascension Parish, as this really is the dangerous part of this storm, right where she went and tagged it for you. French Settlement is going to be the French Settlement and Port Vincent. Those are the spots right now that need to be in your safe place, lowest, most interior room of your home. Areas like Lake Louisiana around 1231, that should be about right now, should be in your safe place. Other areas like Verdun, Frost should be expecting to see this storm get a little closer between about 1240 and 1245. Looks like we just got some fresh radar data as this continues to peel back. Again, the National Weather Service is working pretty hard here, and I'm sure they're going to be trimming this back. Actually, the way that this is looking, we'll probably see Ascension Parish given the all clear very, very soon, but not quite yet. This is what I'm looking at, the center of circulation where we have a very tiny little area of red and green coupled together. If you look up here, this is my legend, toward, away. So we're seeing winds moving away from the radar. Our radar's out in Slidell. We're seeing the winds move away from the radar here and toward the radar here. And you draw that into a loop, and that's how you end up with a circle, a center of rotation. That's how we're able to really pinpoint where the dangerous part of the storm may be. So okay, they went ahead and retired part of that warning, but we'll probably see the rest of Ascension given the all clear here very, very soon. I would not recommend driving, but especially if you're planning on driving the interstate systems right now. We have several tornado warnings covering up parts of the interstate, not only in Ascension Parish, but up in Livingston. Jacelyn, let's take a look at our folks up in northern Livingston Parish here with this warning, see what the status is. Let's go ahead and look at the velocity here and see where that center of rotation is as it is starting to approach Montpelier. Okay. This one definitely looks a lot more organized than the one we're looking at in Ascension Parish. This tornado warning will be going for the next 30 minutes or so, but this one is definitely a lot longer and more widespread as it gets closer to I-55 there in Tangipahoa Parish areas. Montpelier, you should be in your safe place as this rotation is getting very, very close to you. Other folks like Amite City, Tangipahoa have already been very close to a confirmed tornado once today, and it looks like another one is headed that direction. So again, if you are in Livingston Parish and you've been pinged for that tornado warning on the north side of the interstate, please look at your map very, very closely. On the north side of the interstate, it does look like that rotation is very quickly moving into St. Helena Parish and will almost be done with that tornado threat for Livingston Parish, at least on the north side, while this continues to track closer to Montpelier, headed off toward Tangipahoa Parish. This is another reason why I-55 also not going to be a great place to travel, not a safe place to travel, while we continue to see tornado warnings being issued between about Independence and the Mississippi line. We've seen that happening for about an hour now, so just got to stay put. All right, let's go back to Ascension. Looks like Ascension is now being given the all clear. All right, Ascension no longer in that tornado warning, being given the all clear. This rotation just now starting to move into Livingston. So my folks in Gonzales, Sorrento, all my folks up here, Prairieville, Geismar, good to go. No longer a tornado warning in Ascension Parish. So that's some good news. Certainly still some rain reaching the ground, but that tornado warned storm has now moved into southern Livingston Parish. Port Vincent, French Settlement, got to be in your safe space, and you got to hang out there for the next 25 minutes or so while we wait for this storm to move through. It's moving about 40 miles per hour, so we already watched it move all the way through Ascension. It started in Donaldsonville, and now it's right around Port Vincent. Frost, going to see this storm approaching around 12:42, and that's just here in a couple of minutes, and then Livingston around 12:51. That's what I'm going to keep an eye on as this continues to progress, is how it's going to behave as we approach I-12. Is it going to make it north of I-12? What parts of Livingston Parish could potentially see this potentially dangerous storm? That will be my next question as we watch this a little bit closer. But again, if you're in Livingston Parish, south of the interstate, French Settlement, I'm talking to Frost, those areas need to be in their safe place. Right now, Killian is not included in the warning. Looks like it'll go just north of Killian, but it will be approaching I-12. So I'll keep a close eye on that. Jacelyn, let's revisit the flood warning that is over Baton Rouge and actually a lot of areas. Lots of different parishes got pinged for this one. We have the flood warning that extends all the way from White Castle through about Plaquemine here in Iberville Parish. We are on the west side, just in those cities along the bank of the river on the west side. Most of EBR, but not including Zachary, up to about Southern, and then it cuts off there. South of Baton Rouge, including LSU, and then all the way out into Livingston, including Denham Springs, and then this northern part of Livingston Parish as well. Looks like if you're in St. Helena, you may have also been pinged for that flash flood warning as well. I think that's right on the cusp of Montpelier. Those folks, you should be in your safe place anyway, not driving because of that tornado warned storm. Earlier, we were seeing that rainfall rates were coming in between about 1 and 3 inches per hour. So let's see if we can get some fresh estimates. These are not official reports, but the radar does a pretty good job. South of LSU, right, actually right by Plaquemine, coming in closer to about 1.9 inches. Looks like there's a heavy pocket that was on the west side, southwest side of Iberville Parish, coming in around 3.5 inches of rain there. And then in Baton Rouge, as you are approaching I-12 here, just north of I-12 before you get to Livingston Parish, 1.7 inches of rain in the Denham area, between about 2, I would say between about 2 and 3 for the Denham area too. This is the path. You can actually see where these storms have been tracking. You can see it in the rainfall totals. This has been the line largely for those tornado warned storms. Earlier today, this is very eye-catching. We had ongoing flood warnings for some folks in our northwest corner. Nearly 11 inches of rain estimated. That's close to Bunkie, Louisiana, parts of Wilkinson County, upwards of 8-9 inches of rain that have already fallen earlier today. Some of those folks are still experiencing some rain. Looks like there is just a pocket right here of people that have been completely missed throughout the day today. That will not last much longer as the rest of this system continues to progress. Yeah, let's get the look right here, the big look. Anyone who hasn't seen rain yet, don't worry, you're on deck next. There are tornado warnings expanding all the way from on top of my screen where I can't even reach anymore, all the way down through Hattiesburg, a couple outside of Bogalusa. This really seems to be the path here, just through northern Livingston, St. Helena, and then across I-55 in northern Tangipahoa Parish. Seen about 3 cells go through that same path through the day today. This one trying to take a similar path. Again, if you missed it, Ascension Parish, you're in the clear, all good to go. That tornado-warned storm has pushed on north, though it does look like a very heavy downpour. Jason, can we pause the live radar? There it is. Very heavy downpour. White Castle, Donaldsonville, St. Gabriel, Gardere, all of these areas going to be experiencing some very heavy rain as that camps out for the next little while. Lots of lightning now starting to develop over that tornado warned area. So if you're having a hard time figuring out whether or not you are in the warning in southern Livingston Parish, if you're hearing thunder, odds are you are in the warning. Just look at how much lightning is on this storm right now. So again, Port Vincent, these areas here south of the interstate, make sure you're staying in your safe place. Let's take a look, Jacelyn, at those reminders about where that safe place is. I know a lot of folks here don't have basements. Oh, our graphics are back. I know a lot of folks here don't have basements, but that's okay. There are still lots of other places you can go to be safe when there is a tornado warning for your area. You want to be in the lowest, most interior room of your home. Sometimes it could be a really small room you don't always think of, maybe like a large pantry, a closet, or a bathroom. All of those small rooms that are on the interior part of your home that don't have windows, really good places to go. Make sure you grab whoever's with you, grab your kids, your pets, put those pets on a leash so you don't get separated, stay together, and wait for that system to go through. We've been seeing these tornado warnings last about 30 minutes apiece, so just wait them out, hang out in the bathroom, hang out in the closet, do whatever you have to do, wait for that to pass by, and then we will, of course, let you know when there's all clear, or you can track it out all for yourself on your smartphone. If you can't hang out with us at the TV and you have to go to your safe place, bring your phone with you. The WBRZ weather app has everything you need to know on there. You can even find the live stream of this on there as well, and you can look at it on the map so you can see your location. Let's go back to the radar and see what's happening now, if there's any major changes. Graphics have been working very hard today. They may be moving a little bit slow. All right, here's what we got. Still all of those same warnings. Again, Ascension Parish is in the clear when it comes to that tornado warning. Looks like they're going to expand this tornado warning through Livingston Parish now. It's going over the interstate. So if you're planning on driving along I-12 between Baton Rouge and Hammond, it is no longer safe to do so. Let's find out what time this new warning expires. See if we could get that on there real quick. New warning expires now at, I think that's the old one, is 1 o'clock. They'll probably retire this little one. There we go. This big one here now expires at 1:30. Looks like it's coming in just on the eastern side of Livingston, but this warning now does include Hammond. Jacelyn, can we pause the radar so we can see it all in one spot? Thanks. All right, here's Livingston right here, and again, the warning cuts off likely just on the east side of Livingston. So Denham Springs is not included in this warning, but it's along I-12 from about Livingston through the Hammond area. The most dangerous part of the storm is still down here. See all of this lightning down here? This is the most dangerous part of the storm, and they've gone ahead and expanded this to give everybody as much of an early heads up as possible so that you can be in your safe place when this gets a little bit closer. Now, give me a second. I'm going to step off and take a look here. Looks like this storm is moving northeast around 40 miles per hour, and it has a history of producing tornadoes on the ground, according to the National Weather Service. So it's possible that as this was moving through Ascension, may have gotten some confirmation of a tornado in that area. Spotters confirm that they did see a tornado touchdown on the west side of Donaldsonville. So this is the same cell that we've been tracking all the way from Donaldsonville. Now it moved through Ascension. Ascension now in the clear. Of course, still lots of heavy rain, but at least in the clear from that tornado-warned storm. But from a spotter, we did confirm that a tornado touched down on the west side of Donaldsonville, and now this storm seems to maybe be revamping a little bit here, and they're expanding that warning. It does have a history of producing a tornado, so certainly possible that it could do it again. If you are in Livingston Parish, between Livingston and heading out into Tangipahoa Parish, closer to Hammond, you need to be in your safe place. Now, Killian is right here on the cusp. I would get in your safe place and wait for this to pass by as well. Again, have confirmation from the National Weather Service that we did see a tornado touch down with this storm on the west side of Donaldsonville. So very, very important that you're taking that tornado warning seriously. All right, let's see what it looks like on our velocity here, our storm motion. Again, we can see that core, that center of the storm, the dangerous part of it. This is where we're looking at here. So my people right along the river here, the French settlement area here, you're almost in the clear. They may start to trim this back here pretty soon. This will be tracking closer to the Albany area. If I had to guess, this will probably track in between Albany and Hammond. Now remember that this warning is now including the interstate here between Livingston and Hammond. Going to see that tornado warning active in all of those locations. So if you were planning on hitting the interstate, no longer safe to drive. Make sure you are staying in one place. All right. Looks like it will be getting to Albany around 1:01. Springfield now going to be on the cusp of this warning here as well, right around 1 o'clock. So it's about 15 minutes. This is your early heads up, hopefully an early heads up for a lot of you. Head into your safe place now. Hang out there for the next 15, 30 minutes or so. Wait for this storm to pass by. Again, remember, this storm has a history of producing tornadoes. They were able to confirm a tornado on the ground on the west side of Donaldsonville from this same storm. So now they are reissuing the tornado warning, expanding it all the way up through Tickfaw and Hammond. The entire Hammond area is included in this warning as well. All right, let's take a big view. See what else is going on out there, if there have been any other changes. Let's check in on St. Helena Parish. What's happening up here? Looks like they've trimmed this warning back, and it's mostly over St. Helena Parish. It's a pretty thin box here, so Montpelier likely the only town here that still needs to be hunkered down in their safe place, and then we'll expand it north. So Greensburg, Kentwood. This area also already saw a confirmed tornado on the ground, so very important that you are taking these tornado warnings seriously. I know it may be a little bit confusing, there may be a lot of them, but pay close attention because these storms are dangerous and we have several confirmed tornadoes already. Looks like we just got another one here, north heading into Pike County. So again, I-55 between Pike County and Hammond is not safe to drive nearly the entire thing under tornado warnings for 3 separate tornado warned storms. Not a safe place to be right now. Make sure that you are staying home, staying in your safe place and hunkering down while we have these storms moving through. Let's take another look at the flash flood warning because I want to remind folks in the Baton Rouge area that we are still experiencing or could be experiencing some flash flooding between now and about 3:15. There is a pretty heavy swath of rain that is moving north through Ascension Parish into parts of Iberville and then that old Jefferson Shenandoah area. Going to get a pretty good downpour here. So far, we've seen between about 1 and 3 inches of rain coming in. Yeah, let's get some fresh totals, see what is coming in. It's always this little fork. I've noticed this may be a little rain magnet here between I-10 and I-12 in this little corner of EBR. Tends to get little downpours, about 2.5 inches of rain coming in there, and about 2.5 inches closer to Plaquemine, right along the parish line, closer to Gonzales, coming in at about 3 inches of rain there. Looks like we're starting to All right, we're looking at I-12 at Jubin here. Can't really see much because it is raining, and like I said, I-12, not a safe place to drive. Jacelyn, why don't you take me back to that tornado warning across I-12 in Livingston Parish. I-12, anywhere between Livingston and Hammond is not safe to drive. I definitely did just see some folks traveling along I-12. If you know some people that were planning to do so, call your friends and let them know that this storm has a past, and it has already produced a tornado that was spotted west of Donaldsonville, and it's certainly possible that it does it again while it is crossing over I-12 between Livingston and Hammond. Very important that you are staying off the roadways and staying in your safe place while this continues. Let me look for a second. 1:30. This will continue until 1:30. So you will be able to travel a little bit later. Just better be safe than sorry. Stay home. Wait for these things to blow over. This one will last until about 1:30. This specific storm here. Now, in addition to the fact that this could potentially be a tornado-producing storm, we're also seeing some very high reflectivity. These dark, deep reds are letting me know that this is a very heavy downpour, in addition to that, which can make roads unsafe for another number of reasons. Everybody is still under that flood watch through the rest of the day today, and it's very possible that we could even see some water ponding on the roadways, and of course that makes things even more dangerous, in addition to the possibility that we are seeing a tornado possible in this area. Jacelyn, let's see if we can get read my mind, see if we can get that velocity here. Looks like that couplet may be getting a little bit tighter, that red and green getting a little brighter, a little darker, you can see here. Again, that warning, this little warning is set to expire at 1, but this other one until 1:30. So people here a little closer to Ascension, French Settlement, almost, I would say, you're about in the clear as this continues to move north. This is really the dangerous part of the storm, the center part of the storm that could potentially be our tornado. It's headed off toward I-12, and it will be crossing over I-12 here in probably the next 10 minutes or so. If you know anybody that is planning to be driving through Livingston Parish along I-12 in the next 20 minutes, you got to call them, let them know that it's not safe to do so. A very dangerous, potentially a storm with a tornado could be hopping over the interstate here again in the next 10-ish minutes or so. So no longer safe to drive in that location. Ponchatoula just going to be on the south side. I have a feeling that this will go just north of Ponchatoula, but the Hammond area is all in the mix here. I know it doesn't say Hammond, but the Hammond area is all in the mix here, and then Tickfaw will be on deck to see that. In Livingston Parish, Albany is right about here. Albany looks like it's most directly in the path of this powerful storm. So again, make sure you are in the lowest, most interior room of your home. Bring your smartphone with you. You can bring this stream right along with you. Download that WBRZ weather app, and you can find this live stream right on there, and we'll continue to cover this warning as it moves through. Let's take a look at what is happening out here. Looks like on the other side of Tangipahoa Parish, just now seeing some new tornado warnings there. Looks like our graphics are really starting to slug a little bit. Here we go. Looks like a brand new tornado warning here, just moving to the east side of Tangipahoa Parish, a little closer to Franklinton. So these areas need to be in your safe place as well. This is well outside the WBRZ viewing area, but just another one, tack them onto the list. About 10 or 15 tornado warnings for us at this point. This will last until about 1:30. Most of the things I'm seeing are lasting until about 1:30. Everybody is under that tornado watch, and I believe they extended it a little later. It was supposed to go until 1 o'clock, but we're obviously seeing that tornadoes are continuing. They've extended it off into the Gulfport area, well through New Orleans and Grand Isle for until 8 o'clock tonight. So that tornado threat is going to continue. We appreciate you guys staying connected and staying safe by staying connected with us. And again, this will continue until 8 o'clock, that possibility to see some tornadoes. We'll go back to the radar. We'll check it out. Or we could do this too. Nope. All right, graphics our graphics are working harder than we are. They do have a mind of their own. Here's what we got. All of these warnings, I know this looks a little bit scary, but I want to remind you that most of these are outside of the WBRZ viewing area. And I'm really talking to Livingston Parish, Tangipahoa Parish, St. Helena, Pike County. Really the only spots with tornado warnings. This red box here over EBR, that is a flash flood warning, although that is very serious in and of itself. That is an entirely different warning, so trying to focus on them warnings by warnings. My people down here in southern Livingston Parish need to make sure that you are in your safe place. This storm has a history of producing tornadoes. There was a confirmed spotted tornado on the west side of Donaldsonville, and this is the same storm that is now moving through southern Livingston Parish. Looks like it is going to move north of Killeen here, but Albany, this area, as it just hops over I-12, is going to be the spot most directly in the path here. So make sure that you are in your safe place. If you're planning on driving on I-12, it is no longer safe to do so. You need to stay put and make sure that you are paying close attention to where those active warnings are. Hammond is also included in this warning. Everybody out in Hammond needs to be in their safe place until this storm passes by. If we have it, Jason, let's see if we can see the center of the storm on the velocity. Here's what we got here. They should be retiring this one here pretty soon. This one should expire around 1 o'clock anyways. Looks like that center of circulation is getting very, very close to I-12. So especially my Albany people, if you are in Albany in Livingston Parish, you need to be in your safe place. The center of rotation is heading directly in your direction. This is your heads up. You need to be in your safe place right now. Grab your friends, grab your kids, grab your pets, and head into the closet, the bathroom, wherever you can, away from those windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can, and make sure that you are staying put until about 1:30 when this storm passes by. Again, this is the center of the storm right here, and I'm expecting it to pass over Albany almost directly. Now, on the other side of that is Springfield. So we're expecting Springfield to also be on the south side of this. Those folks also need to be in their safe place as well, need to be in the lowest, most interior room of your home and hanging out there until about 1:30. I-12, again, between Livingston and Hammond is not safe to drive. My folks up here in Hammond are also in the tornado warning, but it's going to take a little bit longer to get there. Go to your safe place now and continue to track it out as we continue to watch it. Ponchatoula here is right on the cusp of this warning, likely going to see this center pass north of Ponchatoula. Never a bad idea to be safer than sorry. Make sure you're staying in a safe place. Absolutely do not get on the roads at any point throughout the rest of the afternoon today, but certainly between now and about 1:30. Here again is that center of circulation. Jacelyn, can we track it out and see if we could get a timeline on that center here? Here's what we're looking at. See if we can get a fresh timeline for you as this is just about to pass over the interstate. Again, if you are planning on driving along I-12, it looks like we could potentially have a tornado or a very powerful, dangerous storm just about to pass over the interstate in Livingston Parish, somewhere between about Livingston and Albany. So make sure that you are in your safe place. Other nearby places, Woodhaven, between about now and 1:06, could see that passing by. Now and about 1:03 for my folks in Albany, and Hammond looks like between about now and 1:12. This storm, again, does have a history of producing tornadoes. We saw it do it on the west side of Donaldsonville, all the way down there on the other side of Ascension, and it's continued to track, and it's starting to reform. Again, we can see a pretty obvious circulation there. Let's zoom out a little bit and see what other systems we have at this moment. Still have another warning that's ongoing right now out in St. Helena Parish. Looks like it's just actually about to cross over I-55. I-55 between the Mississippi border and Hammond is absolutely not passable anywhere. Make sure that you are staying off of I-55 until all of these storms have passed by. This rotation is starting to get a little bit messy, so that's a good sign. Maybe it's falling apart a little bit, but Kentwood, the city of Tangipahoa, Amite City, Montpelier, all still need to be in your safe place. Jacelyn, what time does this one expire so we can let these folks know what time they need to hang out until? About 1 o'clock. So given another minute or so, and the Weather Service will let us know if they're going to head and let that expire, if it has in fact weakened, or if they're going to keep us or if they're going to renew it so we can keep tracking it into Tangipahoa Parish. I do think they'll probably let this one expire since it's looking pretty weak. If they do in fact let that one expire, that will leave us with just the one warning down there in Livingston Parish. We'll go ahead, let's go back down there. Can see it here. I'm waiting for the strike of 1 o'clock to see how these things start to adjust and see how the National Weather Service is going to reissue these, but looks like this box right here will go away, so everybody who's in Livingston, basically south of Killian, should be in the clear here in the next 20 seconds. Just need to wait for my graphics to update. Anybody who warning in the WBRZ viewing area. Again, we are in Livingston. This storm is just now about to cross over the interstate on I-12, somewhere between about Livingston and Albany. Looks like it's probably going to pass on the north side of Hammond, so I would go ahead and say that Killian likely going to be in the all clear here pretty soon, and then Springfield is on the south side of this, not directly in the path of the tightest circulation. We don't have eyes on this. I don't have a confirmed tornado, but I'm taking the storm very seriously because it did produce a tornado a little bit earlier, moved all the way through Ascension Parish, so it certainly could be very, very dangerous. Again, it's continuing to move off closer to Hammond, and this warning is going to be active for the next 30 minutes. Yeah, let's take a look at the radar, see what it looks like. Hard to really tell what's going on here. So if you're just looking at your weather app on your phone, very hard to tell exactly where that cluster is, but we just saw it, and again, it looks like it is just now about to pass over I-12, and eventually that means it's going to pass over 190 as well. So traveling through Livingston Parish right now, not advised. In fact, very, very dangerous. Stay off of both 190 and I-12 here for at least the next 30 minutes or so while this continues to move through. One of the reasons, of course, is the possibility that there's a tornado in this storm, and the other reason, look at how heavy this rain is. We're seeing these colors coming in, these very dark, dark reds. That's letting us know there are some super heavy downpours in the mix there as well, which of course can make it more dangerous for those driving conditions. Don't want any